Hello, I'm standing here at M60 Junction 7. Why am I here today, standing here when it's quite cold and windy? Well, I want to introduce a foreign junction concept which you may or may not have heard of. So what is the junction type A, you ask? Well, it's called a diverging diamond interchange. The idea is actually French. 3 were built in the 1970s, 2 in the Ile-de-France and 1 up near Lille, and it was an idea that never really found any further favour after that. And then, by sheer stroke of coincidence, in the early 2000s, an American highway engineer came up with a similar concept and was staggered to find out that it had already been a European thing for several decades, but nobody had really talked about it. So the Americans refined the idea, but they didn't invent it. Quite honestly, I don't see why not. Fundamentally, diverging diamonds are actually motor vehicle infrastructure, but with a little bit of sensible planning, they can be configured to run very well for pedestrians and cyclists too. Now, I concede that this is going to be a hard sell. For a start, a lot of highway authorities don't understand or want the concept, and secondly, a lot of active travel campaigners who also aren't sure of the concept and haven't really been sold the benefits of it don't want it either. So you're going to have to bear with me now as I use this relatively short video to explain why these are a good thing. So the question you're asking then is, how do these junctions actually work given you go on the wrong side of the road? Well, the best way to describe that would be with a drawing, because a picture paints 1,000 words. Now, this sounds stupid in principle, but in practice, what it actually means is that you can run far fewer traffic signal stages, which means you can move far more vehicles through the junction, and this is where the benefit comes in for pedestrians and cyclists. This, obviously, we're going to say, well, that's just going to encourage people to drive more, isn't it? But it's not, because you can make a diverging diamond capacity neutral by simply restricting the number of lanes, because you don't need the stacking space for the right turns. Ironically, with fewer lanes, a DDI would have more capacity. Gain 7 metres straight away for active travel improvements. Adding the planting buffer and the landscape improvements, in relative terms, I mean, it's a flyover, it's never going to be attractive, is it? I won't stand here and pretend that diverging diamonds are fully perfect. They're not. They do have some flaws. For example, the crossing over of traffic might confuse some drivers. It may cause a few issues operationally to begin with, but I think over time that could be resolved. Other problems involve the fact that some cyclists and pedestrians might not like the idea of being routed down the centre. That can be mitigated by design options, and it can be made a lot more attractive than it would otherwise be in some of the examples seen in the USA. However though, I think on balance, the positives outweigh the negatives, and I would like to see this junction style trialled in this country, and I think that M60 Junction 7 here at Stretford is probably the best candidate for that trial to take place. So to show you what this junction would look like if it had the appropriate mitigations in place, here is a sketch diagram. I have drawn this to scale on an actual OS plan, but I can't show that for copyright reasons. Moving on to the signal staging of the junction, you can see that the layout can work as a simple 2-stage arrangement. In theory, this means that delays should be reduced to a minimum. Because of the way the signals operate, you will always have a continual cycle of signals, which will mean that you very rarely hit a red. What do you think? I'd be interested to hear your views in the comment. If you like this video, please feel free to like and give the channel a subscribe. That would help my growth immeasurably. You can also donate via Ko-fi if you so wish. Information is in the description. And until next time, I will see you around. Bye bye.